Hello everybody, welcome to 2C TV, your global news channel. I'm Maya 2C and this is your latest breaking news coming from the conflict between Israel and the Islamic Republic of Iran. And now perhaps we can say Israel, the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran. There's a lot happening which we're going to be focusing on, and of course the latest footage that we are receiving from the capital, Tehran, and the reaction from all sides. First things first, there's been a lot of rumors on social media. Once again, a lot of fake news, a lot of exaggerations. Don't worry about those things. Again, we try to bring you guys the latest verified information. For example, earlier on we had all these posts about the USAF B-2 stealth bombers being airborne. Then of course we had the defense side suggesting that this is just for training. They're not actually attacking Iran yet. These are the very specific ones. These are not the ones that are attacking. This is the official line. So there's been all of these other rumors, but we have to talk about the actual facts of the situation. As it has now been confirmed by a Pentagon, the Air Force have been deployed. They are flying over the region. They've been flying over the last few hours into their positions across the Middle East. One of the officials said that the deployments include F-16, F-22 and F-35 aircrafts as well. Having said that, the regime in Tehran have completely been destroyed. The army is nowhere to be seen, as I've been saying all day. No leadership visible on the ground in the capital, and the military defections as well. We are going to be talking about military defections to the Crown Prince of Iran's team. We'll confirm that within the next few minutes as well. And all government sites in Tehran at this point have also been destroyed. More attacks tonight as we speak in the capital. First, let's go to the first video that we have. This is the Israeli fighter jets attacking a petrochemical plant in the western part. Let's go. Unfortunately, only a few seconds. A lot of these clips, they are going to be short because there's a massive problem with the internet connection in Iran. There's been a lot of internet outage all day. So when you get some sort of internet connection, you only can upload a few seconds of a video. Otherwise, it's going to take hours to do that. So a lot of the videos we're getting is only a few seconds. Let's talk about the Israeli Defense Forces. Over the last hour or so, they issued an urgent evacuation warning for District 18 in Tehran. Something huge is about to happen there ahead of the expected airstrikes on the Iranian military infrastructure. Of course, the civilians have now been urged to leave immediately for their own safety. The whole area covers about 37 square kilometers, and as we speak, there are a lot of targets around that part of Tehran that is being destroyed as well. Now, the air defense in Tehran and Karaj started working quite well for a few minutes only for a few minutes. We do have the video actually proving this. Then, of course, it stopped working. And of course, the fighter jets of the Israeli Air Force successfully continued their mission. These were over the skies of Karaj and Tehran over the last hour or so. Of course, the supreme leader of Iran, as we reported earlier today, has now given power and control to his second in command, Pakpur, and of course the rest of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard for direct orders, because of course he can't do that from the bunker. There's a lot of problem with communication. They are scared of using any level of communication tools in case Mossad is listening. The chain of command has collapsed, although this was reported by Israel that this collapsed about 2 days ago, but definitely today and tonight, nobody knows exactly who's in charge and who is giving orders. The next video we're going to show you is actually from Narmak and also near the Resalat, located in the northern parts of Tehran, specifically northeast of the capital. Let's quickly go and see what's happening over there. So we are just waiting for the verification and confirmation of what has been hit. There's been a lot of rumors again over the last few minutes on social media, so ignore all that for now. The Crown Prince of Iran and his side, there have been a lot of people obviously around this story. There's been reports repeatedly over the last few hours following his speech to the Iranian nation. Reports of the Iranian military officers seeking contact with the Crown Prince, some have successfully done it, allegedly, to declare their intent to defect. They also want to pledge their allegiance to His Majesty, and of course his mission to lead the transition government into making Iran a democracy again following the fall of the Islamic Republic. So it's all happening, and it's very busy in regards to what the President of the United States is about to do. He had a very long meeting with the National Security Council and the rest of his team. Netanyahu also just held the longest meeting, consultation meeting since the war started. They both also had a phone conversation, but the White House have rejected any idea of a statement being released by the president. Nothing comes out of the White House tonight, and there's a lot of other, apart from of course President Trump's demand for a complete surrender, an unconditional surrender. There's no more negotiations. And President Trump also came to correct that, because some of the officials and sources were briefing the media in Washington that, yeah, President Trump is going to be pushing for peace. And President Trump said, no, I'm not doing that anymore. It's too late. Let's talk about the air defense systems, because we now have confirmation that the air defense battery at the Fordo nuclear facility has just been destroyed. This is the main nuclear facility, and the same place that the Israelis say they would struggle on their own to fully destroy because of how deep the underground site is. And they have been, of course, asking the United States for help. And there is a consideration from President Trump that they might get involved to help with that. A limited operation by the Americans just to do that. The situation in Tehran continues to escalate as well as the attacks by the Israeli Defense Forces. Let's go to the next video.
زیادی حالا تو دوربین زیاد معلوم نیست. نورش زیاد کن، نورش زیاد کن. احتیاجت داره همینجوری. آن پارچین هم میتونه باشه. اینجا هم مهر شده مثلا این قسمت این
There was a lot of speculation by the person who was filming this, trying to see exactly where has been hit. In terms of the United States and what they are doing, B-52s are already in Diego Garcia ready to target the Fordo nuclear facilities. Obviously, if President Trump gives the order, that hasn't been publicly announced yet. A lot of people are waiting for a surprise attack either over the next few minutes, few hours, or it could be actually tomorrow. Again, we haven't heard anything, any confirmation from the president on this front. Let's also talk about, I think we can now confirm what was hit in the previous video that we showed you, the massive explosion. That has now been confirmed as the Khajir missile production complex. So this is the place where they were building the ballistic missiles. This is in the southeast of Tehran, and it was just hit by the Israeli strikes earlier on, triggering a massive fire. So this was that mystery explosion that we saw. Again, there was a lot of weird speculations and rumors on social media earlier on saying, oh, this was a secret palace. Like, not really. Anyway, let's have a look from... I'll just double check to see where we are with the rest of the statements, if anything is coming. Right, now, also, again, if you have been watching this channel for a while, thank you again for all the support. Obviously, we have now gained 1,021,000 subscribers. Earlier today, we hit 1 million, and to celebrate, we are giving you guys a special discount, 50% off annual memberships of 2C TV Plus if you use the promo code 1million by going on 2c.tv or find the link in the description. Join us, and of course you get access to all the premium shows, documentaries, chat forum, and much more. And of course download the 2C TV app as well to stay up to date. All right, now let's get some reaction. Domino, thank you very much for your super chat. We have Jeff as well. Trump's gonna use carpet bombs. Yeah, flying carpets. Wait until a couple of generations of free Iranians experience bacon for the first time. They'll love it. Yeah. Tampa says, why did they change their name from Persia to Iran? Persia is much sexier. I did explain that earlier today. Of course, if you watched the previous live stream, we covered all that. Robert, thank you. Essentially, of course, Persia was the old school name when you had the Persian Empire controlling the whole region and all the ethnicities. Some Iranians are Persian, most Iranians, it's a big chunk are Persian, but you also have the different ethnicities in the country. So Iran was the unifying name, meaning the land of Aryans. So that was the main reason. If you just say Persia, then of course the other Iranians will be a little bit offended. Mandy says, hi, belated, a happy birthday. Do you think France and the UK will join? So we do have the confirmation from the Minister of Defense in the UK. The United Kingdom have also deployed their forces to assist the Americans when it comes to on a more defensive way, not in terms of attacking Iran, but in terms of defending the bases in the Middle East, because there's a lot of fear that the Islamic Republic will retaliate against the bases, especially the US bases, but also the UK. So although the capability of the IRGC has kind of been questioned over the last day or two, because according to the Israeli intelligence, they may have only about 1,800. What they had 1,800 is probably now 1,700, because they did launch some new missiles towards Israel. Not many, by the way. They just launched about 5 or 10 at a time. So I don't know what they're doing anymore. But yes, the UK have also deployed their forces. France is not really in favor of being anywhere at this point, and they are actually... President Macron is also advocating against the regime change. Of course, at this point, Netanyahu and Israel are saying we are going for regime change. The Iranian people say regime change, but France, Macron came out to say something very stupid. Earlier today, he essentially said that it's fair enough to say that regime change could bring instability. Yes, he's correct. But he said regime change never works and has never worked. I have a few examples for President Macron: Germany, Poland, Japan, South Korea, Italy, Taiwan, Chile, and France. Every single one of these examples proved that regime change worked. So if you're looking at it, as I said previously, if you're looking at countries like Iraq or Afghanistan or Libya, where they were already a mess, yes, regime change is not going to work. If the culture is not ready for it, then you can't really force it on them. You can't force democracy on people if they don't want it. Super Sticker from Marina, thank you. Yes, sorry, I know this doesn't sound at all like the name of a British pub. People are still trying to find a pub name, because I said when Iran is free, I'm going to open the first British pub. Faith says, praying for your father's safety and continued protection. Well, I do have some good news on that front, and my father has finally managed to evacuate and flee the city as well. So hopefully he should be safe and sound. Now, Mosh says, can't stay long, just wanted to say congrats for 1 million subscribers. Thank you very much, Mosh Cohen, one of our regulars. Domino says, defend Israel. Yep. Is bombing Khamenei considered elder abuse? Yes, basically. That's a good one. Okay, so President Trump is going to be meeting with Pakistan's army chief tomorrow. So we'll find out more about that, what Trump is going to tell the Pakistanis what to do or what not to do in this case. Denver from Canada says, Maya, your subscriber base is moving faster than the Fatah missile can travel. Yeah, the Fatah missiles are not the best, are they? Well, they say they are, but they're not. Trey says, congratulations on 1 million. Thank you so much. And Ian says, how long until the secret IRNG who have come across the channel attack us in the UK? Unlikely at this point. God bless Israel and the great people of Iran. Yep, thank you. And Kim also says, Daily Telegraph reporting that there is a Chinese plane flying over Iran. Congratulations on reaching 1 million for your birthday. So this is the second day in a row we've had a Chinese plane or a plane from, well, going through China, basically picking things up that went towards Iran. And this is essentially the Chinese Communist Party sending out more support and assistance to the Islamic Republic. Also, I've just noticed I am slightly losing my voice, which is not a very good thing. It's been long. I've been doing so many live streams over the last few days. Now, okay, so a lot of the people who have escaped Tehran and also other cities, we're now saying that a lot of people who they have gone towards Azerbaijan. So over 600 individuals have crossed, only 600, that's nothing, have crossed into Azerbaijan from Iran in the past 5 days. Although this actually refers to those who are not necessarily Iranian, because a lot of people have been stuck with their different nationalities and dual citizens as well. This one is actually about 600 people from 17 different nationalities. So it has been quite tough for those who, for some stupid reason, decided to visit Iran. Some decided to go as tourists. I'm not really sure why you would do that when the Islamic occupation is in place. And some perhaps for business or maybe spies or whatever they were doing. And but obviously they had to now go through Azerbaijan. We do have a quick video as well from Tel Aviv, because of course earlier on the Iranian regime did launch more missiles, but again they did promise this is going to be the largest attack, and they also said there's going to be a massive surprise. Not much really. There hasn't been any casualties in that sense, but we're going to show you footage from Tel Aviv, an impact at one of the buildings, residential buildings. Again, the Iranian regime are directly targeting the civilians in Israel. Let's go. And there were a number of cars as well that were set on fire because of the missiles. This was the level of damage that the Islamic Republic could cause, but luckily no casualties reported tonight. So let's get more reaction from you guys as well. Where were we? There we go. Pilgrim Media says, will Sharia law, or Sharia, be shown the door? Yes, that the Iranian culture don't do Sharia, and it was a really weird thing when it was forced onto them in 1979. Fabrizio says, pull up the right picture, please. It's B2, not B52. Thank you. And Howard says, excellent work, Maya. Cheers. And Status Quo says, long-time viewer, TCTV, and Godspeed for your wedding. Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump complete the mission towards eventual peace, reunification of your family. Yeah, I mean, it's also not really just about people in Iran or people in Israel, but also people around the region and around the world who have been affected because of the virus that is the Islamic Republic and the influence that they've had around the world by funneling money towards all these weird groups and activist groups, university campuses, and a lot of the mosques and Islamic centers that have been built over the last few decades in the Western world. A few years from now, a movie will be made about Khamenei's last days in the bunker. Where is Shadmani? That's actually very true, jokes aside. Yeah, la la la. I'm not singing. Deadly Hippie. And Brian says, congratulations on 1 million subscribers. If we are already a subscriber, can we add a year to our subscription using today's code? Or is this only for new subscribers? Yeah, no, this is just for new subscribers. Otherwise, there'll be chaos. Everybody will just cancel the subscriptions and upgrade it. No, it's just for new subscribers, of course. If you haven't joined 2CTV Plus, use the promo code 1 million to get 50% off, limited offer on annual subscriptions for 2CTV Plus, which you can access by going directly on 2c.tv. The link is also in the description box under the video. Peter says, 2C, what are you going to charge for a pint of your finest? Well, it's going to be quite tricky because the currency in Iran has completely collapsed as we speak. We don't exactly know the value when Iran is rebuilt. So it's probably going to be about 50 pence or 50 cent in terms of value in the UK or US. It's going to be very cheap. Billy says, the Million Sub Pub. I've had better name suggestions, but that's not bad. Pub names, Bunker Busters, that's a good one. Bunker Busters. Or One Big Beautiful Bar. That's, yes, in the honor of President Trump. Ashish says, Pakistani army chief gifted a watch to the Iranian chief of army 2 weeks ago, and Israel picked him up and blew him. Stay away from the Pakistanis. They are voodoo. It's just not safe to hang out with them. Chuck, thank you. Right. The Florida man says, the free state of Florida is a great place to celebrate the freedom of the good people of Iran. Enjoy paradise, brother. Thank you so much for that as well. And Drew says, I've heard the MEK being promoted as an option that Iran would want on the news, but I think they will be horrible, of course. Have you done any reporting on MEK? Yes, numerous times on this channel. Stay away from MEK, and in case you don't know what that is, they are the Mujahideen of Iran. They are technically the opposition, well, opposition, not the opposition. They are a group against the Islamic Republic, so you might get excited, ooh, but they are Mujahideen, which means they are a combination of Islam and communism. That's lovely, isn't it? So these guys have always been against everybody. So when the Shah was in place, they were fighting against him. So this was these commies who were actually doing the attacks. And of course, Khomeini came from Paris with the help of CIA and basically stole that revolution with the Islamic paramilitary coups. But these guys are also mental. So they are a cult, and nobody outside or inside Iran likes or trusts them. They have caused a lot of damage. They actually helped Saddam Hussein to attack Iran in the 1980s. They are traitors and they are communists and they are still Islamic. So why on earth would anybody take them seriously? The problem with that is that they have had a successful lobby over the last few years. They have infiltrated the US politicians, UK politicians. We've had British MPs shaking hands with them. We had, I believe, Mike Pompeo and some other weirdos shaking hands with them, saying, "Oh yes, we've been told that the MEK are the opposition." We're like, no, don't say that in front of Iranians. They're not going to be happy. Did they just bomb Tehran? Another YouTuber said it looked nuclear. Well, it's not going to be nuclear. There's a lot of people on YouTube saying a lot of things. They get overexcited about these situations. I believe it's probably one of the footage that I showed you. It was a big explosion, and it was a ballistic missile production complex. So of course it was a big explosion because of the material inside, but not nuclear. Is the regime change possible or a wishful prediction? There's no other option. As things stand now, right? As things stand now, there is no way for the regime to recover. Again, never say never. Craziest things happened in the past. But at this point, the Islamic Republic has fallen apart, and I don't know how they can come back. There is no real leadership, so it's happening. And he says that the Reza video is very well produced. It feels like he is in the US, choice to be the new Iran, and that the release of the video shows the US has thrown its full support behind the regime change in a public way. Yeah, although he's been obviously living in Washington, D.C., or near Washington, and making those videos all the time. But yes, I know what you mean. There is going to be a more push for his leadership, because of course he's the main leader of the opposition. Wolf says IRGC got up Tehran War Thunder. And Elizabeth says, have you seen the chat by Dr. Musa? Says we are being fooled. Yeah, don't listen to crazy people. I was 13 when we escaped Iran a few days before the US embassy was taken over. Thank you for your updates and prayers for the people of Iran and Israel. Yes, absolutely, I agree. Maya, I heard you saying Aryan instead of Aryan instead of Aryan. Aryan, what is Aryan? Aryan, or as the Iranians would say, Aryai. I know, sounds harder, right? Aryai. Once freed, how do you see the chances of Israel, Iran, and UAE exterminating the Shia Islam in the Middle East? Well, they won't really have a base. That's how. As per the name of your pub, I would recommend Habib. So it will be interesting to see where the Shias would go. So, I mean, Lebanon is always an option, but they won't be able to be a paramilitary group like Hezbollah, because Hezbollah only existed because the Islamic Republic had all the money and given them their money. But without that money coming from Iran, they're just going to have to be a group. So Hezbollah is probably just going to turn into a political party and just, play politics. And sort of like when the IRA turned into Sinn Féin as a political party. But there's no other way that the Sunni countries are going to allow the Shias to build the base. Samir says Iran will soon run out of missiles. Will China or Russia supply Iran with missiles, drones? No, Russia has already withdrawn support. China will be sending some support, but firstly, nothing publicly. Russia has already withdrawn support, and Putin has also said that we haven't actually offered asylum to Khamenei. So the Islamic Revolutionary Guard released a massive statement, which we showed you in the previous live report on this channel, attacking Putin, saying we will remember who during these times stood by us and who chose to not help us, basically. They're not happy with Moscow. And I did say Russia's not going to get involved. There's a lot of crazy people on YouTube and on social media saying, oh, good, this is going to be World War III. Russia's going to get involved, nuke everybody. And like, calm down, Tucker Carlson. That's not going to happen. They got bigger problems than saving the Islamic Republic. Adam says, why does Candace Owens claim that Israel is carter bombing women and children? I was talking about Tucker, but yeah, that's another beauty. Candace Owens. Yeah, it's probably best not to listen to Candace too much. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I've spent more time with you than my closest friends over the past week. Thank you for this timely reporting. A proud 2CTV Plus member. Brilliant. Thank you for joining the channel. And Mark says, hopefully one day we will be free of terrorism. Don't think that's going to happen, but we can hope. William says, greetings from Indiana. I am new to your channel and I have not seen better coverage. Is your hope to move back to Iran if it's liberated? No, because I can't really completely integrate into the Iranian culture. But they would probably call me a traitor, westernized traitor. No, so we've got a business and life in my family in the West. So, but that is not the case for a lot of other Iranians. A lot of the Iranians who were political refugees, well, I'm not a political refugee, but those who are political refugees are all going to go back because they see themselves as a guest in the West, and they've been very, obviously, grateful. They integrated, but they want to go back home to rebuild their country. Stephanie says, bar name, the 2C Pulse. Okay. Jeremy says that the Israeli military doing the dirty for so many and will not get a thank you. Maybe secular Iranians. Yeah. Let's celebrate a future peace in the Middle East. Yeah, the Iranians are the only group that are actually thanking Israel, basically, at this point. Randy says, new subscribed yesterday, don't need regular TV anymore. You should try a collab with Patrick by David. Well, yes, well, get Patrick to get in touch with me. If he wants to come on TCTV or if he wants me to go on PBD Podcast, why not? It will be great. Both of us are Iranian, background-wise. Now, let's double check to see if we have any breaking news. As we said, we're kind of technically, imminently expecting the Americans to strike, but President Trump has not confirmed anything. So it could be tonight, it could be tomorrow, it could be the next day. They have closed the embassy, by the way. The United States have closed their embassy in Jerusalem for a few days. So things are about to happen very quickly over the next few hours and over the next few days. Again, don't forget, we have a limited offer to celebrate 1 million subscribers. Join 2CTV Plus. Use the promo code 1million. You will get 50% off. 50%. And go directly on 2C.tv. And don't forget to download the 2CTV app from the App Store today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.